ద్రావిడ మనం ప్రస్తుతం వీళ్ళతో మాట్లాడతాం. ప్రస్తుతం ముందు ఇది స్టార్ట్ చేశాను కదా. సుష్మా ఈ అమ్మాయి ఏమో సుష్మా అంటే మన విజయవాడ అమ్మాయినా మానస గారు అమ్మాయి, డాక్టర్ మానస. పేరెంట్స్ పేరు విన్నా గుర్తు. వాళ్ళు ఎలాగ అదే ఆ అమ్మాయి ఎలాగ చేంజ్ లేవాలి పెళ్లి చేసే ఉద్దేశం. హలో హలో,
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
Can you see the board clearly, sir? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Till when we are having class, sir?
Yes, sir.
Till when we are having class, sir?
We have not started, man. Why are you worried? You tell me when I will close, I will close. Okay? Now I
12 o'clock, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, on Fridays you close at 12 o'clock.
I know today is Friday. I will be leaving you at the earliest. Just you do 25 questions, I will close.
Okay, sir.
Okay? 25 questions in inorganic, say 20 questions in organic. You complete in 20 minutes, I complete. I will do a bit fast on that. Ready? That is a rule of the game. Okay, sir? Oh, is it very on the chat is sweating on the team? Sir, we are starting. No, I know. No, double it. Hello. Now we will be exploring.
Yes, sir.
What is SN2 reaction? Give an example. And order of SN2 reaction in a different isomeric butyl chlorides. That is the question. There are 3 questions. What is SN2 reaction? Substitution, nucleophilic, bimolecular. Substitution, nucleophilic, bimolecular. Fine, sir. SN2 means substitution, nucleophilic, bimolecular reaction. In this reaction, a X minus is replaced by a Y minus. That is a powerful nucleophile is replacing a weaker nucleophile. What is a nucleophile? That is another question. What is a nucleophile, sir?
Which want to donate electron.
A nucleophile is a species that can attack positively charged carbon center. Species that attacks positively charged carbon center in organic molecule. So who will attack positively charged carbon center? Whomsoever has a negative charge or whomsoever has a lone pair of electrons. Therefore, your Cl minus Br minus OH minus NH2 minus Cl minus Mc minus ammonia, all these are, even water is a nucleophile. Are you clear? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now, give an example for SN2 reaction. In a SN2 reaction, the speed of the reaction depends on concentration of the substrate on the reagent. For example, when alkyl chloride is reacting with, say, aqueous NaOH, to give you ROH, the rate of the reaction is equal to rate constant into concentration of alkyl halide and the concentration of OH minus. Because the rate of the reaction is dependent on both the substrate and the attacking nucleophile, it is called SN2 reaction. If I double the concentration of alkyl halide and double the concentration of the attacking nucleophile, rate of the reaction increases by 4 times. Are we clear?
Sir, in SN1 reaction,
hello?
concentration is only dependent on alkyl halide, no sir?
The rate of the reaction depends on concentration of alkyl halide and also on the concentration of incoming nucleophile or reagent.
In SN1 only alkyl halide.
In SN1, it depends only on concentration of alkyl halide. Here it depends on two fellows, hence SN2. Now, give an example. This compound, can you name this compound, sir? It is simply methyl chloride, where one hydrogen is replaced by heavy hydrogen called deuterium. The other hydrogen is replaced by tritium, and there is a Cl. It is like methyl chloride, but in methyl chloride I have replaced hydrogens with other isotopes. In this way, this carbon became hydrogen. Now, when this compound known as heavy hydrogen substituted methyl chloride, when it reacts with aqueous NaOH, what happens is the OH minus, that is the incoming nucleophile, starts attacking the nucleophilic attack-prone carbon. This is a nucleophile. This carbon is attacked by it because it gets some plus charge. Cl carbon. Notice the OH minus cannot come from this side because the OH minus and Cl minus will be there. Therefore, OH will try to attack from back side. When the OH minus is attacking this primary alkyl halide, sir, do you know it is a primary alkyl halide because the halogen is locked to a carbon that is not locked to any carbon. If the halogen is locked to a carbon that is not locked to any carbon, or that is locked to only one carbon, it is called primary alkyl halide. If the halogen is locked to a carbon that is locked to two different carbons, it is called a secondary alkyl. The halogen is locked to a carbon that is locked to three carbons, it is called tertiary alkyl. It is a primary alkyl halide. In fact, methyl chloride, the OH minus attacks from opposite side. This is the leaving group. Broken line indicates it is going down. The broken line indicates that the OH minus is attacking. This is H. This is deuterium. This is deuterium. It is a very unstable transition state. Transition state is a high energy state, which is very, very unstable. And as the Cl minus goes, the OH minus completely binds. You will be getting OH this side, H in the usual side, and then you have P here, and then have here. Notice that the product has OH group on the left direction to D. In the reactant, the Cl is on the right side to D. It means the configuration of the product is exactly opposite to the configuration of the reactant. This type of inversion in configuration is noticed in SN2 reaction. If this compound has a configuration like R, the product will have a configuration like S. Are we very clear, sir? Hello? 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 Notice that the Cl has highest priority. Next priority is to tritium. Next priority is to deuterium. Hydrogen has least priority. When you are moving your eye is moving in clockwise. It is a R isomer. Here, if you are looking at the oxygen has high priority atomic number 8, then the tritium has a higher priority after this, then deuterium, then hydrogen. With your eye, you are observing it moves in this way. When you go from high priority to low priority, it is less. So if the starting compound is having R configuration, the product will have S configuration, and this type of inversion of configuration is observed in SN2 reaction. In SN2 reaction, you have a transition state. It has only one step, that is called concerted mechanism. The speed of the reaction depends on how nicely OH minus is attacking, how nicely the Cl is going. It means speed of the reaction depends on the concentration of alkyl halide as well as on the concentration of OH minus. The transition state, the carbon is having apparently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pentavalent carbon, which is very, very unstable. If you look at the energy of the reactant is this much. This is the transition state which has highest energy. This is the energy of product. So, in the energy level diagram, as this is time, as time is passing, the reactant became transition state became product. There are no intermediates. This is only one step reaction called concerted mechanism. In SN2 reaction, the energy level diagram has only one peak, and this is the starting material, alkyl halide. This is your intermediate where carbon is pentavalent. And this is the product OH. So this is the energy level diagram for the SN2 reaction. Order of reactivity of SN2, primary alkyl halides, for example, N-butyl chloride most readily undergoes SN2, then isopropyl chloride, isobutyl chloride, it is also primary, This more readily undergoes the SN2 than secondary alkyl halide, which is more reactive than tertiary alkyl halides. Always tertiary alkyl halides never prefer SN2. So order of reactivity, primary alkyl halides greater than secondary alkyl halide greater than tertiary. Tertiary alkyl halides never ever prefer SN2 because in SN2 transition state, carbon is bound to 5 groups. If this is a tertiary alkyl halide, the groups are very bulky. They don't allow the incoming nucleophile to attack. So
The background
pentavalent state is impossible. Hello? Primary alkyl halides only can easily undergo SN2. Tertiary cannot undergo SN2 because steric hindrance, spatial obstruction. It is not possible for pentavalent carbon if the alkyl groups are very big linked to carbon. There is no place. So tertiary alkyl halides never ever prefer SN2 reaction. Are we very clean about it, sir? Hello? So we answered following questions. What is SN2 substitution nucleophilic bimolecular? What does it mean? It is a nucleophilic substitution where a Y minus replaces X minus. What is the rate of this reaction? Rate is equal to rate constant into concentration of alkyl halide and concentration of OH minus or concentration of reagent. What is the specialty of the reaction? The reaction involves a single step. When the leaving group is leaving, incoming group is attacking. You get a pentavalent transition state, no intermediates. The transition state easily becomes product. It's a one-step mechanism. Who will undergo SN2? Preferably primary alkyl halides. What solvents favor the SN2 mechanism? non-polar solvents, eprotic solvents like dimethyl sulfoxide favor the SN2. Can tertiary alkyl halide undergo SN2 reaction? No. Why tertiary alkyl halide cannot undergo SN2 reaction? Tertiary alkyl halide carbon is having bulky groups. There is no space for the incoming nucleophile to attack because of steric hindrance. Tertiary alkyl halides never undergo. What is the difference between the energy level diagram of SN2 and SN1? In SN2 reaction, energy level diagram has only one peak. Whereas in SN1 reaction, please recall SN1 reaction, the tertiary alkyl halide, for example, like this, the tertiary alkyl halide or R dash R dash dash X. If it is undergoing SN1 reaction, first the X minus will leave, you get a carbocation. The carbocation is now attacked by incoming OH minus. The formation of carbocation is slow step. Then the attack of OH minus is very fast step. Speed of the reaction depends on slow step only. So rate depends on only concentration of tertiary alkyl halide. The rate is not dependent on the OH minus. So it is SN1. In SN1 we see the most important step is formation of carbocation. Once I get carbocation, OH minus may attack from front side or back side. So I get the two products. One product with the same configuration as the starting material. The other product has inverted configuration. So 50% retention, 50% inversion, residual mixture. And in this reaction, energy level diagram is starting material R3CCl. It has this much energy. Now this could be a transition state. Transition state means the state where the Rx is going out. When bonds are breaking. In high energy states, some bond appears to be breaking or some bond appears to be forming. So it is a high energy state. This soon will go to a carbocation. Carbocation is somewhat stabilized by alkyl groups. Again, the carbocation is bound by incoming nucleophile. It is being attacked by OH minus. And then it will become product. The product can have OH on the opposite side or on the same side. What is that? The energy level diagram appears to be like this. Up, down, up, down. This is a starting material. It is a state where bond is breaking, nucleophile is leaving out. It is a state you got carbocation. It is a state where incoming nucleophile is making a bond. It is the product. Product is racemic mixture. This is the energy level diagram. Reaction progress, reaction coordinate. If you have a graph like this, it is SN1. If the graph is like this, it is SN2. This is a graph of energy of the reactants and products with time or reaction coordinate. So in the energy level diagram, if you have two peaks, that is SN1. If you have one peak, that is SN2. SN2 means rate depends on two fellows. SN1 means rate depends on one fellow. SN1 is aided by polar protic solvents. SN2 is aided by eprotic solvents. In SN1, you get a racemic mixture, two products, one with same configuration, one with opposite configuration. In SN2, you get only one product, that too with opposite configuration. SN2 preferred by primary alkyl halides. SN1 preferred by tertiary alkyl halides or benzyl halides or allyl halides. In all these cases, carbocation is stabilized. Are we clear about it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Did I rush it up? Slowly, slowly, please. Very slow. The topic under discussion is division of alkyl halides. In alkyl halides, X is linked to a carbon. X minus can leave and Y minus can come. That is nucleophilic substitution. That can happen in two different paths, SN1 and SN2. Tertiary alkyl halides, allyl halides, and benzyl halides undergo SN. Primary alkyl halides undergo SN. If you have aryl halides like chlorobenzene, vinyl halide like CH2 double bond CHCl, chlorobenzene and vinyl halide do not undergo any SN reactions. They don't prefer SN reactions because the CX bond has a double bond nature. It is difficult to break that. Therefore, no SN reaction is readily possible with chlorobenzene and vinyl. Tertiary alkyl halide undergo SN. Primary alkyl halide undergo SN. This is to bear in mind very clear. Yes, sir? Are you clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So there are 10 questions in all we have covered. Benzyl chloride, what type of reaction it undergo?
SN1.
Benzyl chloride
Electrophilic
undergo
substitution,
SN1
yeah.
because benzyl carbocation is stabilized. Chlorobenzene, what type of nucleophilic reaction it prefers? Answer.
SN1.
It will not
SN1.
prefer any nucleophilic reaction because the CX bond has double bond nature, difficult to break. No SN reaction. Vinyl chloride, what type of reaction it prefers? It would not prefer SN reaction
Reaction.
because CX bond has a double bond nature, difficult to break it. It won't prefer SN reaction. Next question. Allyl chloride, CH2 double bond CH, CH2Cl. What type of reaction allyl chloride prefers? Allyl chloride prefers SN1
SN1.
SN1 because the allyl carbocation is resonance stabilized. So benzyl chloride, allyl chloride prefer SN1.
SN1 reaction.
What type of reaction is preferred by ethyl chloride? Ethyl chloride is a primary alkyl.
SN1, sir.
Primary alkyl
SN1.
always undergo SN.
Sorry, SN2, sir.
How many transition states are there in SN1 reaction?
2.
SN1
Two.
reaction, there are 2 transition states. How many intermediates are there in SN1 reaction? There is
1.
1. How many transition states are there in SN2 reaction?
1.
1. How many intermediates are there in SN2 reaction?
0.
0 intermediates. In which reaction pentavalent transition state exists? In SN2 pentavalent transition state exists. So these are the questions we wanted to review. We have reviewed. Thank you very much. Now we are going to inorganic. Sir, should we go?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, in inorganic part, we are seeing, sir, the transition metals are the elements located in the central part of the periodic table between S block and P block.
Hello guys, it's
3D series, 4D series, 5D series, and 6D series. The elements from atomic number 57 to 71 and 89 to 103, these are separately written in the bottom called lanthanides and actinides. The lanthanum of atomic number 57, the actinium of atomic number 89, both belongs to third group. Both are D block elements, but all lanthanides and all actinides are F block elements. The D block elements have a configuration of N-1D, 1 to 10, NS, 1 to 2 in the valence shell. The zinc
Sir, in starting
cadmium
class you told configuration n-1 d 0 to 10 you told.
In fact, I want it N-1D 0 to 10 because there is a case of palladium. Palladium is having a configuration of 4s2, 4p6, 4d10. Definitely that is a D block element. Definitely that is a transition metal. But If you take palladium as a transition metal, then it is not between 1 to 10, no? Then if it is 1 to 10, it does not have NS, it does not have 5s electrons. The problem is, in this case, oh, somebody is yelling, man. Hello. Hello. And where is Mr. Kazim? Kazim is there?
Yes, sir, he's there.
Ask Kazim to mute that fellow or remove that fellow. We are in our own. Huh?
Sir is on. Sir did not connect audio. Sir.
The problem is, always you can have some people who make decisions. This is universal problem. Don't worry. Okay, sir, I was talking to you about zinc, cadmium, mercury, which are volatile metals, which are D block elements, but not transitional. Now, I want to say one important thing. The D block elements, when we get scanned here, 3D1, 4s2. Titanium, 3D2, 4s2. Vanadium, 3D3, 4s2. Chromium, not the 3D4, 4s2. It is
4s.
5, 4s1 because of the stability of atoms. If I look at the configuration,
की भोसड़ी सड़क खड्डा पानी तुमको दिखता नहीं नेता को नेता हर कोई कहता तीसरी मंजिल पे रहता इसकी बहन को चौदह गांड मारने जैसा
तो सर शिवराज सिंह जी इधर
शिवराज सिंह जी की माँ की चूत 3 बार नरेंद्र मोदी की भाई की भोसड़ी और इनकी माँ की चूत मार रखी है रंडियों के ढाबे पे गांड माराने के ढाबे पे
थोड़ा सा खन्ना का बेटी का चौदह जिसने नहीं देखा वो
okay. What is the name of that fellow? We will remove him. Don't worry. Can anybody help me?
SL41 Farhad.
What is his name?
SL41 Farhad.
SL41. What is his name?
Sir, he left.
He left, sir.
Sorry, you have to tell me his name. Otherwise, I can't.
He left
Sir,
here.
his name was SL41 Farhad, but he left, sir. Make one of us the host so they can, if he comes again, they'll remove it.
Sir,
He
make
left
someone
already.
host, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you
Now
can
I will
lock
lock
the
the
meeting.
meeting. Hello, now I will lock the meeting. Nobody
Okay.
can join now.
Okay, sir.
Wait, man. Lock the meeting. Yep. I locked the meeting. Now we are happy, right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
now I locked the meeting. He can't join again, right?
Yes, sir, he can't do it.
Thank you very much. So if anybody gets de-linked, there will be a problem. And don't worry about what he speaks, because people will speak whatever, they feel like, let them die. Let's not lose our temper, or let's not allow our BP to rise, for God's sake. You understand? Okay? So let's be happy. And sir, what is the topic I was talking to you?
D block element.
Yep. So, very good. Yes. Where is our? Chalo. Sir, scandium is 3D1 4s2. Can you see it clearly? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir, the problem is if the scandium is losing 2 electrons against scandium plus 2, then scandium plus 2 will have 1 electron, 1 unpaired. If titanium is losing 2 electrons, it will lose 4s2, always outer electron is lost. Then titanium plus 2 will have 2 unpaired electrons. If I am looking at chromium, if chromium is making plus 3, it means it is losing 3 electrons. The 4s1 electron and 2 3D electrons. Then you will have 1, 2, 3 unpaired. Can you see it, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Whenever a particular ion has unpaired electrons, it has 2 features. First feature, this ion is colored. So all these ions are supposed to be colored. Anything that has unpaired electron can absorb a part of visible radiation, can get excited and de-excited, and appears to be in color. Sir, if I take scandium plus 3, scandium plus 3 means all the 3 electrons are lost. So it does not have any unpaired electrons. So scandium +3 is not color. Can you see it clearly? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, titanium +2 has 2 unpaired electrons, it is colored. Suppose if I make titanium +4, then it is losing all the electrons, then it is colorless. Are we seeing it clearly? So any damn particular metal ion that does not have any unpaired electrons is colorless. Any ion that does not have unpaired electrons is white or colorless. If any ion has color, it implies it has unpaired electrons. Let us look at zinc. Zinc is argon 3d10 4s. Zinc can make Zn+2 ion by using the 4s electrons. Then it is argon 3d10. Does it have any unpaired electrons?
No.
It does not have any unpaired electrons. So zinc salts are never colored. All zinc salts, it can be zinc sulfate, it can be zinc chloride, it can be zinc nitrate, it can be zinc carbonate, it can be zinc phosphate. Zinc salts are never colored due to cation. Are we very clean on this, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, if I have copper, copper is term number 29. It is 3d10 4s1. Do we expect any color to copper plus ions? Copper plus ion is formed by loss of 4s electron. It is 3d10, and then it is supposed to be colorless. It is colorless. What about copper plus 2? Copper plus 2 is formed by loss of 2 electrons. It is 3d9. 3d9 means definitely it has an unpaired electron. Can you see here I read 3d9 means in the d orbitals, which are 5 in number 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is an unpaired electron. So anybody who has an unpaired electron is colored. Therefore, the copper plus 2 is colored. It has deep blue color. Are you clear, sir? Hello?
Yes.
sir.
So to decide whether an ion can be colored or not, see whether it has unpaired electrons. More unpaired electrons, it is supposed to have more intense color. Also, any ion that has unpaired electrons, from here I am making a statement. Any ion that has unpaired electrons is A, colored. The color depends on what color of visible light it absorbs. Any material appears in a color that is complementary to the light it absorbs. If somebody is absorbing violet color radiation, it appears to be in yellow color because violet and yellow are complementary to each other. If any material or ion absorbs green radiation, it appears to be red in color because the red and green are complementary to each other. Therefore, any species that has unpaired electrons is supposed to be colored. Color is the complementary color that it looks to the color that it absorbs. B, that material is paramagnetic. Paramagnetic means it is attracted by external magnetic field. How strongly it is attracted by magnetic field is measured in magnetic moment. The magnetic moment is a measure to the strength with which it is attracted to external magnetic. Magnetic moment is given by a formula root of n into n plus 2, where n is the number of unpaired electrons and unit is Bohr magneton. If a N is equal to 1, mu is equal to root of 1 into 1 plus 2 is equal to 1.73 volts. If a particular metal, let's say copper plus 2 has 1 ampere. If somebody has 2 unpaired electrons, mu is equal to root of 2 into 2 plus 2 is equal to how much, sir? Root 8. Root 8 means 2 root 2. That is equal to 2.8 volts. If somebody has 3 unpaired electrons, mu is equal to root 3 into 3 plus 2. That is equal to root 15. Root 15 is equal to how much, sir? 3.9 volts. If somebody has 4 unpaired electrons, dipole moment, the magnetic moment is equal to root of 4 into 4 plus 2. That is equal to root of 24. Root of 24 is equal to 4.9 to that.
Sir, here N is number of unpaired electrons.
N is always equal to number of unpaired electrons. N is equal to number of unpaired electrons. So if N is equal to 5, magnetic moment is equal to root of 5 into 5 plus 2. That is equal to 5.92 more magnetons. If you carefully observe, there is a pattern. If the magnetic moment of anybody is something 1 point something, it has 1 unpaired electron. If it is 2 point something, it has 2 unpaired electrons. If the magnetic moment is 3 point something, 3 unpaired electrons. 4.92, 4 unpaired electrons. 5.92, 5. Can you see the pattern, sir? Hello?
Yes.
In other words, I would say, if the magnetic moment is very close to 2, it has 1 unpaired electron. If it is close to 3, it has 2 unpaired electrons. If it is close to 4, it has 3 unpaired electrons. If it is close to 5, it has 4 unpaired electrons. If it is close to 6, it has 5 unpaired electrons. Can you see the generalization? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Notice, if you take Zn plus 2, in Zn plus 2, number of unpaired electrons is 0 because all the 3d10, they are pairs. Its magnetic moment is 0. This formula is called spin-only formula. It is called spin-only formula because to calculate the magnetic moment, we are using only spin of unpaired electrons. In reality, the magnetic moment is caused by spinning electron. An electron has a charge. Any charged object rotating in a particular direction can generate magnetic field. Therefore, all the velocity of unpaired electrons generate magnetic field. That field is attracted by external magnetic field, hence there is attraction. If it has an electron pair, magnetic field generated by one fellow is cancelled by magnetic field generated by other fellow. So there is no net magnetic field generated. So it is repelled by external magnet. Also, the orbital motion of electron is not only revolving around itself, it is also revolving around the nucleus. The orbital motion can also cause some magnetic attraction. And the spin-only formula is considering only electron contribution to magnetic attraction. It is not considering the orbital contribution. Therefore, orbitals also contribute something to magnetic attraction. Therefore, the real experimental magnetic moment sometimes will be different from calculated value using this formula. Because in this formula, we have considered only the electrons. There is some other factor which can cause magnetic moment. Therefore, the experimental magnetic moment may be sometimes different from the value calculated using this formula. There is a note on that. So, here we see one IIT main question. You understood? Transition metals which have unpaired electrons can have colors, and the color intensity depends on the number of unpaired electrons. If there are no unpaired electrons, it is supposed to be white or colorless. Also, the fellow which has unpaired electrons is attracted by magnetic field. The force with which it is attracted depends on the number of unpaired electrons. No unpaired electrons, only electron pairs means it is repelled by magnetic field. That is called diamagnetic. Zn plus 2 is diamagnetic. Cu plus is diamagnetic. Scandium plus 3 is diamagnetic. So this is a note on this. All the d block elements most of the time can act as catalysts. Haber process, nitrogen plus hydrogen is solid. In this process, we are using iron as catalyst. You take a vegetable oil, you add a hydrogen, and you heat in presence of nickel, you get a data. In this reaction where you are making vegetable ghee, oil is added with the hydrogen. The nickel is a catalyst. There is something called sulfur dioxide reacting with oxygen to give sulfur dioxide. In this reaction, vanadium pentoxide is used as a catalyst.
Sir, your video is blurred, sir.
Sir,
Your video is blurred, sir.
video is burned. So don't worry, I am just saying a point that in many reactions, d block metals and their compounds are used as catalysts. A catalyst is one which speeds up a reaction. Is it clearly visible now, sir? Hello?
It is blurred, sir.
2SO2 plus oxygen gives 2SO3. Are you seeing it, sir? What I am writing? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir, this is a reaction called a contact process. It is called a contact process because the gaseous sulfur dioxide, gaseous oxygen are in contact with the platinum, which is a solid. And the platinum is a catalyst and that makes SO3. Yes. In contact process, you are making sulfur trioxide needed to make sulfuric acid. The platinum is a catalyst. The question, why platinum acts as catalyst? In a Haber process, you are using iron as a catalyst. Why iron acts as catalyst? In hardening of oils to make vanaspati, vanaspati is a vegetable ghee, nickel is a catalyst. The question is, why the d block elements are acting as catalysts? D block elements have ability to exist in many oxidation states, variable oxidation states. The ability to exist in variable oxidation states gives them power to act as catalysts. So D block elements, transition elements, and their compounds act as catalysts because of their power of variable oxidation states. Now here is a question for us. Let us go directly to IIT mains question 2021. I will see how many of you would answer this question. I know that some of you can answer. Question is like, iron exists as Fe plus X. What is X? What is X? If its magnetic moment is equal to 4.92 volt magnetons. That's the question. Can you try that, sir? Look at the question. Iron, whose atomic number? Iron atomic number 26. Its configuration is 3d6 4s2. You should know this. Normally, iron is 3d6 4s2. They are saying its magnetic moment of Fe plus X is 4.92. What is X value?
2, sir.
Obviously, the 4.92 value implies that it has 4 unpaired electrons. It will have 4 unpaired electrons if it lost the valence 4s electrons. Then it will be Fe plus 2. Then its magnetic moment is 4.92. Answer is, it is 2. Iron is plus 2. Congratulations. You got 4 marks. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
So the question is, you are given pairs of ions. Let us see next question that appeared in 2021 IIT mains on January 8th morning session. Look at the question. Which pair of ions are colored? You should choose that where both fellows are colored. They gave me 4 options. Options are like nickel +2, copper +1. Nickel +2, copper +1. Second option is like scandium +3, titanium +3. Third option is like scandium +3, cobalt +2. And the fourth option is like nickel +2, titanium +3.
Option D.
Option D is right because Cu+ has no unpaired electrons, scandium +3 has no unpaired electrons, scandium +3 no unpaired electrons. So all these have one fellow who is colorless. Obviously nickel +2 and titanium +3 because nickel is normally it is 3d8 4s2. You know its atomic number is 28. So when you get a nickel +2, you are removing 4s electrons. 3d8 has 2 unpaired electrons. It is color. Titanium is atomic number 22. It is 3d2 4s2. Titanium +3 means you remove 3 electrons. It is 3d1. It has 1 unpaired electron. So it is color. Answer is D. Now here is a shortcut information to you. Look at the d electrons. All the fellows which have d1 and d9, they have 1 unpaired electron. All the fellows which have d2 and d8 configuration, they have 2 unpaired electrons. All the fellows which have d3 and d7, they have 3 unpaired electrons. All the fellows which have d4 and d6, they have 4 unpaired electrons. And anything that has d5 has 5 unpaired electrons. Can you see? There is a very important point. Sir, if there are 2 ions, one with the d1 and the other one with the d9, they have 1 unpaired electron. Do they have same color? The color may not be same, but the magnetic moment is same. d2 and d8, though they have same number of unpaired electrons, because there is a variation in nuclear attraction, there is a difference in excitement and de-excitement. So the colors can differ, but the magnetic moment would be the same. Therefore, the ions which have same number of unpaired electrons in different cases may not have same color. Are we very clear?
Yes.
Sir, should I have to remember color of ions? Yes, you have to remember color of some ions. Chromium +3, always green. Copper +2, always blue. Iron +3, it is yellowish brown. Some ions colors we have to remember. Now one more word on color. In fact, I made a video earlier on color of the transistor to my clients, which I will be sharing with you. Here I want to tell you. In KMnO4, the manganese is +7. Generally, manganese has a configuration 3d5 4s2. If it is +7, it is manganese. Manganese atomic number 25, 3d5 4s2. If it is losing all the 7 electrons, manganese +7 has just configuration like argon, no electrons in 3d, no electrons in 4s. So Mn +7 is supposed to be colorless. Why it is supposed to be colorless, sir?
No unpaired electrons.
Because no unpaired electrons. But unfortunately, KMnO4 has deep violet color. Very deep violet color. A small crystal of permanganate in a bucket full of water will give violet color. Similarly, in K2Cr2O7, the chromium is +6. The chromium is generally argon 3d5 4s1. And if it is +6, it has lost 6 electrons. It is like argon 3d0 4s2. No unpaired electrons. So it is supposed to be colorless. But unfortunately, it has a deep orange color. Why they have color, though they don't have any unpaired electrons? Answer is, they show color. These are special cases due to charge transfer phenomena. Interestingly, human blood also has a bright red color due to charge transfer phenomena. What exactly is charge transfer phenomena is beyond the IIT portion. It is a bit complicated concept. I will not explain that, but I want you to know the term. Charge transfer phenomena is responsible for deep violet color of permanganate, deep orange color of dichromate, though the central ions have not paired electrons. The deep violet color, blue violet color, which you see when starch and iodide ions interact, starch iodine test, is also due to charge transfer phenomena. So we talked a little bit about color of the transition between ions. Here we have learned what is magnetic moment, how it is calculated, who will be paramagnetic, who will be diamagnetic, what are various oxidation states shown by D block elements, why do they act as catalysts, how the color of a ion can be identified, why dichromate and permanganate are showing deep color though they don't have unpaired electrons, what makes D block elements act as catalysts, etc. Did we understand this idea, sir?
Yes, sir.
So today we also made a review on SN1, SN2 reactions. Now, in fact, Kazim has telephoned me and told me, I have to leave you today by 12 o'clock, not only today, tomorrow. Tomorrow I will not be doing anything new. I will be revising questions for a day after tomorrow exam. That is IIT mains exam if you have. And tomorrow only revision of the exam portion and also 1 or 2 ideas in D block. Tomorrow
This
also class
question.
will be between 11 to 12. Okay, sir. Now your doubts. Any doubts?
Question, sir.
Portion is same old portion only, sir. Phenols, the alcohols, phenols, ethers. Only old portion. The paper once I discussed tomorrow. That's it. Because you are more focusing on IP exam, it seems. Cousins are requested me. I said fine. Okay, sir. Sir, any doubts now? Should I have to do anything more now?
No.
So, Khuda Hafiz, I wish you the brilliant success in the board exam. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wash my hands. Okay, sir. Now I am closing the class. Okay. Thank you very much. I think nobody is having any other doubts. Okay.